This is my workshop, which I converted from, it was supposed to be a bicycle storage. But the bicycle only lived in here for a day or two. And then I realized this would make a perfect workshop for me. So I started building shelves and the bicycle never made it back in here. What you need is a few basic tools. Everyone has them, or if you don't have them, I can show you how you can improvise and make your own. That's what I end up doing. I make my own tools. I need levels of all sorts, and when you buy them small levels, they're never the right size. So I just customize them. I just find this happens to be a pencil, a carpenter's pencil. And I just glue this level on there, and now it's a perfect size for what I need. I don't want it too large, and I certainly don't want it too small. So you just improvise. I happen to have purchased a large amount of wire here that is perfect for making coils. Now, I buy this wire 5 or 6 different colors. But the important thing is that you get aluminum coated 18 gauge wire. It's the easiest to work with. Now, if you can get soft, 100% soft copper wire, that's wonderful too. But don't get it any thicker than 18 gauge to make when you're starting out to learn how to make coils. As you become more proficient and more skillful, you can work with thicker gauge wire. And wire, as the number goes higher, the wire becomes thinner. As the number comes down, 18 gauge, 16 gauge is thicker, 14 gauge is thicker, 12 gauge is really thick. So 18 gauge is about the middle, the best working wire. And you want it soft enough that you can work with it, because if it's too hard, it becomes more difficult for someone who is just beginning to learn how to make coils. So 18 gauge aluminum colored wire, you can get that off eBay. There's no problem getting it, and it's relatively cheap. I use the sacred cubit length. There's 2 of them. The lost cubit is 23.49 inches, and I work with the sacred cubit, which is 20.6 inches. So take half of 20.6 is 10.3, and that's 10.3. And when all else fails, eyeball it. Close enough. Half the wire. Take one end and bend it down. Take the top one, bend it over all the way tight. Do it as tight as you can around the plier. Take the other half and do it tight. Keep turning it. And now you have both sides touching. Take the plier out. And just bring it over. And then start wrapping it. You have the wire top and bottom. And as you bend it, as you twist it, the top wire stays at the top and the bottom wire stays at the bottom, and just keep twisting. And the nice thing is, when you use this softer wire, it works really nice. But if you have hard wire, if the wire is hard to bend, this becomes really difficult. So when you're beginning, I recommend this painted aluminum craft wire is absolutely the best. And there are people who insist that it only works if you work with copper wire. It's not true. Any wire will conduct that energy. Copper might be better, you know, because of its conductivity. What you should end up with is one end halfway over and the other end halfway over. So they should, you know, they should be at opposite ends. And if they're not at opposite ends, then clip a wire and make it fit so it's opposite ends. Nothing is crucial. You know, there are people who they get really anal about being absolutely perfect with length and size and so on. The universe is very forgiving. Energy wants to flow wherever it can, and it will. If a person who can feel energy holds this, or you use a pendant, they can feel the energy that's coming off that, or the pendulum will tell you that there's good energy coming off that. When it's a proper coil, it'll go clockwise. See? I programmed it. If it's positive, it's clockwise. If it's negative, it's anti-clockwise. Get yourself a pendant and you practice with it. And you said, okay, if it's positive, I want you to turn clockwise. And it'll start turning clockwise. If it doesn't know, or if it doesn't know, if it can't tell you right now, it'll either stay neutral or it'll go up and down like this. See? That's, I don't know right now.
That's neutral.
That's neutral. Doesn't matter because the energy from the coil, it'll work the same up here. See? Positive. Now, let me take the coil that is not properly, watch.
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. Doesn't like the energy. People can do this at home. They don't even have to buy a pendant, fancy one. They can take a bolt, a nut, put a piece of thread around the bolt and program the bolt. When you're dealing with these energies, none of that is true. You're into another dimension, as it were. It's removed. It's at a higher source than 3D. 3D is the last stage where the vibrations condense into materiality. So we can feel things, and things can hurt us when we bang into it. That's it's the lowest vibration we can get to. But our thoughts are some of the highest vibrations, consciousness, you see. You can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't see it. It's so far removed from anything physical, 3D, but we forget that. And yet, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to pull down the higher dimensions, the higher frequencies, to go into your heart. Get out of your head, get into your heart. I always say the longest journey you will ever take in your life is about 1.5 feet long, from your head to your heart. And most people can't do that, can't make that journey. It's only 1.5 feet long. Get out of your head and come into your heart, and you'll be fine. But it's not easy. You have to work at it, and you have to, you know, some people meditate, and there are different approaches you can take, but you have to find your own way. And I find my way. My way is I can zoom completely out. I don't even hear Lynn sometimes when she calls me or wants my attention. I'm so into what I'm doing here that I'm in another world. It's my form of meditation.